Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do my Nonfiction November sort of TBR. Okay, if you've been following me for a while, you already know nonfiction is something that I don't really gravitate towards willingly sometimes. I am a fiction girl through and through, but I must admit that all of the nonfiction I have read has been fantastic. So what is my problem? I don't know. But anyway, that being said, this is going to be a video which looks at the stack of books that I'm going to be choosing from to participate in Nonfiction November. Now that does not mean I will be reading all of these books. All I've done is kind of put them into a group of the books that I would most likely, or I think I will be gravitating towards when I'm looking for nonfiction. So I have quite the stack because, you know, when I'm trying to give myself options, your girl needs options. So I will be reading, of course, fiction this month as well because there are some things that I really need to get to. So I'm going to try to do this the best that I can. Keeping in mind, if you're following Nonfiction November to the T, you can go over to abookolive. Her introductory video, I will link it below, where she gives the 4 prompts. And I think they are collection, industry, style, and treatment. So I didn't really look for my books following that. I looked for my books really for what I was feeling like reading. And some of these could easily fit into one or a few or all of these categories. Let's get started. Okay, so the first book I have on my list is Homecoming: Voices of Windrush Generation by Colin Grant. Now, I just love this cover. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. So this is a book that I desperately would like to read this month because the Windrush period is something that I have either read about or heard about, mostly read about in the past 2 years in some shape or form in a book that I've read, and has made me want to go find out more about this particular period. There's been quite a few books that have mentioned it that I have read, and one of them was Black and British at the end of last year. There was also Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendes. There was also the mention of it in Mr. Loverman by Bernardine Evaristo. And just there's quite a few of them. And so this is a period where you had a call for people in the Commonwealth, particularly from the Caribbeans, to come over to England to help with different various jobs that they had no one to do these jobs. And it talks about their, you know, their life coming over, and then how poorly they were treated in some cases, and just some of the government shenanigans around having invited these Commonwealthers who are a part of the crown, you know, to come over and do the work. So I desperately would like to. This is one of the ones that's top up on my list for real, like top up. So if I don't read this before the end of the month, I'm gonna be pissed off. And if I don't read it by the end of the month, I will most likely read this one in December, because like I've had this book for a minute. Because I purchased it when it came out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it came out in, when did it come out? Yeah, it came out in 2019, so right before the pandemic. So your girl, yeah, needs to get to this one. Okay, next book on my list is Shame on Me by Tessa McWatt. It's actually called Shame on Me: An Anatomy of Race and Belonging. Now this was a gift from Mel, and from Mel's Bookland Adventure, who is changed her name now, but I thank you so much, Mel, for this book. Now, I started reading this book when I received it, and I managed to get through the first 2 chapters. Now, the thing about this book is it's written by using the parts of the body to talk about race, and it's phenomenal. I only got to read the first 2 chapters, but it's quite a lot, actually. It's like a good third of the book. 86 pages I got in, and for some reason, I think it was work or something, was really, really, pulling me away from reading in general that week, and I just dropped it. It wasn't like I dropped it because I didn't like it. I was totally into it. But I will be starting over from page 1, because I like to get the full perspective. I'm not going to start where I stopped. So this one, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to it, and it's a book that I have seen no one talk about, so I'm really surprised by that. But yeah, it's one that I'm really interested in reading. Okay, next on my list is 400 Souls by Ibrahim X. Kendi and Keisha N. Blaine. Now, this is one as well that everybody has seen it everywhere. When it came out, everybody was talking about it, raving about it, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and I cannot wait until I cannot wait to just pick this up and just revel in it. And I have been told that the audiobook accompanies this very well, and that I should read and listen to the audiobook. So this is another one that is a desperate I need to read, because I've had it for a minute. This is the British edition that came out. I think it was sometime in 2021 it came out, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just, because I'm getting my years all mixed up. Yeah, this is the British edition, which came out in 2021, and I love this cover. I think it's just the best thing. The next book on my list is The Sex Lives of African Women by Nana Darkoa Sekiyama. And this one is a collection of essays about African women and their sex lives. And I saw this on Instagram on someone whose page I really, really enjoy, and that's Lip Gloss Mafia. And she talked about this book, and she spoke about it very highly. And I said, look, let me get that, because that looks like it's something that I need to read and I need to hear about and understand more about. So this is on my list as well. Okay, the next one on my list, y'all all know it. Cast: The Origins of Our Discontents, Isabel Wilkerson. Okay, we'll just ignore that sticker right there. I'll just put my hand over it. So this one right here, I mean, you know how much I love The Warmth of Other Suns. Like, love The Warmth of Other Suns. And this is only gonna be, I'm sure, even better. So this is also on my list, although I hear this one is quite intense and it's not something that you read quickly. So I may or may not get to this one for sure. I probably won't get to this one just yet. I might just save this one for the end of December or the beginning of January, I think, that I get to cast. But I know I'm going to love this. I just want to be in the right mind when I read it, and I want to be focused. So cast. Next on my list, I have A Death in the Family by Carl Ove Nosgaard, My Struggle, Book 1. This one has been on my TBR, oh my God, it's been eons. And I was introduced to this by the lovely Silje here on BookTube. And she gifted me a copy of this. This is not the copy she gifted me. This is another copy because somebody gave me the first 4 books of this series. So I have 2 copies of Nosgaard. And if all goes well, I will be buddy reading this with the lovely Jacqueline over at 6 Minutes for Me. We said we would read this together in November, so if it's still on, you'll definitely see something about this. Excited about this one. Okay, the next book on my list is From Scratch, which is by Timby Locke, and Timby Locke is Attica Locke's sister. So Attica Locke is a mystery writer that I also love a lot. And this is a memoir and takes place in Italy, particularly Sicily. And I've had this one on my list for a minute, and this would be nice to get to because I feel like it's going to have those flavors and that warmth and that Sicilian touch that I'd be looking for while it's getting cold over here. So this, and I just love the cover. It's just, yeah, this one is speaking to my spirit. And last on my list, I have Taking Flight by Michaela de Prince. And you know, also if you've been, well, you may not know, I don't know, but I have a very, you know, big love for ballet, and I did ballet for a lot of my young life between the ages of like 5 and 17, and I love the ballet, like love it, love it, love it. And I miss not being able to go now that it's, you know, COVID and all this mess. My husband would take me, you know, every summer in July when it's our wedding anniversary, and he would take me to the ballet in Paris, and I miss going to the ballet to see the ballet in Paris. So, of course, being that I love it so much, Michaela de Prince wrote her memoir here talking about how she, I think she came from, I want to say it's Sierra Leone. So she was in Sierra Leone, and she was in an orphanage, and it shows how she got adopted and how she went to the States and how she's become the beautiful ballerina, beautiful black ballerina that I would have loved to see when I was doing ballet, which I never saw any black ballerinas. Like the first real black ballerina was Misty Copeland, and I'd already stopped dancing by then. So you know, for all the little black girls who are dancing today who get flesh tone, you know, point shoes, and who can wear their hair, you know, in, you know, a bun with braids, and, you know, you know, my heart goes out to that whole aspect. And so I'm very interested to hear more of her detailed, you know, story of her life. So she wrote this, I think, in conjunction with her mother, Elaine de Prince, and here she is right here. It's not a very long book, so it's something that I would like to read because I've had it for a minute. I know she does have an Instagram account, so if you are on Instagram, I urge you to go over there and follow her. She's a really nice young woman, and she's a beautiful dancer. Those are all of the books that I had put on my list that I hope to actually choose from. So you're just going to have to stick with me and see what I choose, because, you know, your girl is fickle. I'm a mood reader. You know, it is what it is. So comment below and tell me what are your tops to read from nonfiction for this month, and let's talk about it. And I'll see you again real soon in the next video. Bye-bye.